Let's welcome in Subhrakant Panda, Managing Director at Indian Metals and Ferro Alloys. Sir, what has been the average ferrochrome prices witnessed since March? Has that been a huge uptick in the last few weeks?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the show. Yes, ferrochrome certainly has picked up noticeably in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, March onwards, there was first the impact of COVID. And reduced demand domestically. But actually, our experience as a company is slightly different to that of our peers, because we actually saw the impact of COVID in Q4 of FY20, because we are largely export-oriented. About 90% or more of our output is exported. And clearly, our target markets, which is the Far East, was what was affected at that point in time. So we have actually operated right through the lockdown period, courtesy the exemption available to continuous process industries. Now we have actually seen international prices start moving up about a couple of months ago. But domestic prices, which had dipped below about 60,000 rupees a ton on account of all the shutdown effect and the impact on demand, has in the last couple of weeks, like you said, moved up. And, we are looking at something like 66 to 67,000 rupees a ton at the moment. And we believe that going ahead, that is likely to move up a little bit more as well.
Also give us a sense on how the current chrome ore situation is in the country. We understand that OMC has not conducted auctions since May. So if you could give us some clarity there.
Well, first of all, as you would know, that we are a fully integrated producer. So as far as our operations are concerned, we are almost totally self-reliant on our captive mines. We do buy a little bit of tonnage here and there for chemical balancing purposes. But in as much as oversupply in the domestic market is concerned, yes, there is for a variety of reasons, not least of which the COVID-related restrictions, let's say early on in Q1. Besides that, the monsoons have behaved extremely unusually this year. I mean, for example, Odisha has had a low pressure literally every week of the month of August. So that's been a wipeout in terms of operations. So cumulative effect of all of this has been that, ore is somewhat in short supply in the domestic market. And not to mention, of course, that on March 31st, there was a significant change in the mining scenario, in the sense that Erstwhile leases expired and, were allotted to, through an auction process. And there is clearly a changeover process which is involved in all of this. So large mines in the Supinda belt, for example, have not been operating during this period, although we believe that it will perhaps start in the next couple of months or so. But yes, net, OMC, for a variety of reasons, I believe, has not conducted auctions. And, also because of the changeover in the mining leases, certain conversion contracts which were operational have been discontinued. So as a result of that, ferrochrome production in India has also gone down by about 50-60,000 tons during Q2. It remains to be seen whether that trend holds, or in fact, there may be a little bit further cut in output as well going ahead.
Okay, fair point. Is there high demand for Indian ferrochrome from China as well, where production has already been on full-fledged?
Well, I mean, Indian ferrochrome is sold to China, and companies like us, for example, also export, in fact, primarily to South Korea and to Japan and Taiwan, but a little bit to China as well. Like you correctly said, in fact, Chinese stainless steel production is actually back to pre-COVID levels, or I should say, Q2 is about 3% higher than the comparative quarter last year. And as a result of that, certainly demand is there. And if you look at, the European markets, which have been affected through this period, we also believe that coming out of the European vacations, which is right about now or going into September, we also believe demand will come from there. So overall, a reasonably bullish scenario, if I can put it at this point in time. In fact, some of the data that I've seen recently about German consumer confidence bouncing back, all of that points towards the world sort of looking to get on with life while also looking to control the effect of the pandemic.
Right. So just if you could tell us what's the overall update as far as metals go. We've seen a lot of metals demand coming in. Do you think it's supply related problems that a lot of companies globally are not being able to supply? That's the reason why metal prices are going up? Or do you believe the recovery is faster than anticipated, because of which, you are seeing this sort of price action in most metal stocks or most metal, LME traded metal names?
Well, I don't really have the expertise to talk about metals as a broad spectrum, but what I believe applies to chrome and stainless steel will broadly conceptually apply to other sectors as well. And you're right, it's a combination of both, because if you look at stainless steel, for example, output has gone down by about 9% during the year, but so has ferrochrome production gone down by roughly that amount, or maybe even a little bit more. So actually, there is a balance between the two, and that is why it has the supply demand balance is being maintained. And now, when demand is coming back on with with the recovery phase, and there have also been certain supply chain disruptions, because again, specifically related to ferrochrome, let's not forget that going into the COVID pandemic era, ferrochrome was already under pressure, and leading producers in South Africa and elsewhere had announced significant production cuts to the extent of 20 to 30%. So that is not going away anywhere. So what the COVID-related shutdowns have done is exacerbate the situation for those who are on the edge. The famous saying of Warren Buffett that when the tide goes out, you know who's wearing a swimming trunk or not, is exactly the situation here. That companies with large debt or who are not integrated find themselves in trouble. And when the recovery phase comes back into play, which is what I believe we are seeing at the moment, then those companies who have the various issues under control, I believe, stand to gain the most.
Thanks so much, sir. Very well put in terms of how you were seeing market share gains for stronger players, and that's essentially been the theme in the market. Most of the first couple of market leaders who don't have leverage issues is something which has done very, very well.